What if I told you there's a company you've never even heard of that secretly controls the world? Crazy, right? Well, the thing is, this company actually controls some of the biggest companies in the entire world, including Facebook, Apple, Microsoft, Airbnb, Pepsi, while also having ties to some of the richest and most influential people in the entire world, such as Elon Musk, Kanye West, and Jeff Bezos. You see, the company I am referring to is called BlackRock. But how is all of this possible? How can this one company that you've never even heard of own most of the brands we all know and love? Well, in this video, we will look at just how BlackRock rose to power and what they are currently doing in the business world today. Make sure you watch until the end so you can see exactly which brands you've been using all these years that have been under the thumb of BlackRock all this entire time. In 1988, BlackRock was established in New York City by its founder and current CEO, Larry Fink, as a risk management and fixed income institutional asset manager. It now manages $10 trillion in assets, making it the largest asset manager in the world. BlackRock is responsible for managing a quarter of the $40 trillion in a global currency that is now in circulation, according to MarketWatch. How did BlackRock become the world's biggest asset manager? Two of the big three asset management companies for passive funds are BlackRock and Vanguard. Vanguard is the largest shareholder in BlackRock, which owns State Street, the third company. All paths appear to lead to BlackRock. The largest shareholder of BlackRock is Vanguard. However, many of the oldest and wealthiest families in the world can be connected to Vanguard funds, despite the fact that Vanguard itself has a distinctive structure that makes it more challenging to determine who owns it. When they started BlackRock, they had one primary objective in mind: to give clients an unrivaled risk management solution. When working for his former company, one of the founders, Larry Fink, lost up to $100 million, which made him understand the value of risk management. Larry would approach Pete Peterson at the Blackstone Group with the notion of establishing an investment fund focused on risk management. Pete thought the proposal had merit and offered to fund it in exchange for a 50% ownership part in the company. And with that, Larry would put together a group of 8 entrepreneurs and launch the business. BlackRock has gone from nothing to the largest and most dependable asset manager in the world in just 34 years, according to Forbes. Additionally, the company has grown to be a significant Wall Street player in Washington, D.C., and a doorway between business and politics. The company has 70 locations across 30 countries and serves clients from 100 different nations. Aladdin, a huge technology platform owned by BlackRock that manages assets worth at least $21.6 trillion, is also under its management. BlackRock employs the Aladdin network of 5,000 computers to track millions of trades and do risk assessments on client portfolios around the clock. Many of the major firms in the investment management sector use it as their central nervous system. The Federal Reserve and practically every major U.S. bank are directed by Aladdin, who also performs trades in all asset classes throughout all sectors of the economy: 10% of the stock market, 17% of the bond market, and more than half of all ETFs, all under its control. A hack into Aladdin's network might have a rapid and disastrous effect on the world economy. According to a Wall Street Journal report, BlackRock gained notoriety after investing $6 billion to purchase single-family houses and convert them into rental units. BlackRock often paid much more than the sellers had requested, putting an end to the middle class's fantasy of owning a home. One of the defining characteristics of American capitalism is competition. Alternatives keep companies on their toes and push them to deliver better products and services. Almost 1/3 of the shares of Coca-Cola and its main rival PepsiCo is jointly owned by BlackRock and Vanguard. Additionally, they are the largest investors in Facebook, Apple, Microsoft, Expedia, Skyscanner, Bookings.com, and Airbnb. But things don't stop there. Shares of rival airlines, oil firms, refineries, steel mills, mines, e-commerce sites, credit card companies, insurance companies, tobacco companies, massive automakers, manufacturers of weapons, renewable energy companies, and more owned by BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street. The Campaign for Accountability, a watchdog group concerned with public corruption, launched the BlackRock Transparency Project to demystify the company's access and influence business strategy. BlackRock develops intimate ties with government to outperform rivals, securing preferential treatment and avoiding onerous regulatory requirements. BlackRock has employed at least 84 former government employees, regulators, and central bankers globally since 2004, according to academics. Conflicts of interest and official corruption can easily arise from this. Healthcare in America is a catastrophe. Everyone keeps blaming Big Pharma, the enormous firms that manufacture our drugs, for the increase in medicine prices. The bulk of shares in practically every pharmaceutical business you can think of has been snatched up by investors like BlackRock. In actuality, the top 3 U.S. pharmaceutical firms, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, and Merck, are owned by the Big 3, BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street. And from their investments in pharmaceuticals, State Street, Vanguard, and BlackRock each make billions of dollars annually. Pharmaceutical companies gave their stockholders $30 billion in 2000. They distributed $146 billion in 2018. Bloomberg even went so far as to refer to BlackRock as our 4th arm of government because of the company's propensity to create shadow cabinets before presidential transitions and its participation in the new Federal Reserve programs. Who did our government pay to conduct a post-mortem investigation and clean up the big mess during the financial crisis of 2008 when the government bailed out too-big-to-fail Wall Street companies like Bear Stearns, AIG, Fannie Mae, and Freddie Mac? That's right, BlackRock. Without any open competition and in complete secrecy, the company received significant government contracts to aid in the meltdown. In other words, even though BlackRock is one of the largest shareholders in the same banks that they were trying to bail out, Larry Fink was appointed to be the manager of Washington's rescue of Wall Street. People petitioned BlackRock in 2019 because it was one of the largest shareholders in the oil, coal, and heavy polluting industries. But in 2020, that changed. Environmental, social, and governance, or ESG investing, was actively promoted by the company. In order to promote a more equitable and sustainable economy, BlackRock also established a foundation. BlackRock can throw the official over a barrel and say, "You're placing a loss on pensioners," according to Rosner. If a BlackRock-owned infrastructure project becomes a road to nowhere and the government wishes to discontinue funding the project, this would require the public official to decide between wasting public funds and running the risk of losing support from the people. The appointment of Fink as Hillary Clinton's Treasury Secretary in 2016 was widely anticipated. That didn't go as planned. But it appears that the revolving door was profitable. BlackRock has unmasked access to the executive branch. Since the financial crisis, around 400 talks between BlackRock executives and senior officials in the White House, Treasury, and Federal Reserve have been revealed by meeting schedules and phone logs. BlackRock has benefited from a variety of things, including avoiding regulations designed for other sizable financial organizations despite its enormous portfolio. One of the individuals stated that Aladdin, the asset manager's integrated investment management platform, will enable cryptocurrency trading for BlackRock's clients, which include public pension plans, endowments, and sovereign wealth funds. Uncertainty exists regarding the service's launch schedule. According to a filing with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, BlackRock has already given the market some encouraging signals about cryptocurrencies, including trading CME Bitcoin futures. The business also intends to introduce the iShares blockchain and tech ETF, an exchange-traded fund that trades an index made up of businesses exchanged in crypto technology both domestically and internationally. BlackRock holds a 16.3% of MicroStrategy as well. Michael Saylor, the CEO of that company, frequently announces news regarding his company's Bitcoin holdings. BlackRock was trying to get hands-on with actual crypto and was looking at providers in the sector, according to a second source with knowledge of the plans. According to the AGs, BlackRock has become a clear leader in the movement to retire fossil fuels. According to the AGs, some of this might be solely ideological or motivated by a desire to attract investment from European or left-wing pension funds. BlackRock is required by law to solely seek the best financial return on its investments, regardless of the reasons for doing so. It appears that pressure from asset managers like BlackRock is effective. According to 60% of survey participants from the Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas, investor pressure is the main barrier to business expansion for oil firms like Exxon. The past 10 years have seen a stratospheric increase for BlackRock. The question of how a firm utilizes its power and how powerful a single company should be must be raised when one organization becomes so big that it has unrivaled control over the majority of publicly traded companies and significant influence in governments around the world. What are your thoughts on BlackRock? Let us know in the comments section below. Stay safe, and we will be back soon with another video, future millionaire.